Sir Percival and the Quest for the Holy Grail. In the time of King Arthur, when Camelot's halls shimmered with golden banners and the laughter of knights and ladies, there was a young and humble knight named Percival. Though still untested in the ways of the world, he was noble of heart, thoughtful and curious, always seeking to understand what it truly meant to be brave, just and honorable. One winter's morning, the court was filled with a sense of awe and wonder. A strange procession had arrived, a group of pilgrims carrying a sacred relic, the Holy Grail. Its surface gleamed like liquid silver, catching the candlelight and reflecting a brilliance that seemed otherworldly. The knights and courtiers whispered among themselves, for this was no ordinary treasure. Legends said the Grail could heal the sick, restore the weary, and shine with the light of heaven itself. Yet before anyone could touch it, it vanished, leaving only a message written in a delicate script of gold. Whoever seeks me must journey far, endure trials, and prove themselves worthy in courage, honor, and purity of heart. Percival, young and unafraid, felt a stirring deep within his soul. He knelt before King Arthur and vowed, "I shall find this holy cup, and if it is God's will, I will return it safely to Camelot." The knights murmured, some skeptical of his youth, some curious at his determination. Even so, Merlin, watching from the shadows, smiled knowingly. "It is the pure of heart, not the boastful, who shall succeed," the wizard whispered to no one in particular. And so Percival set out, leaving the warmth of Camelot behind. He rode through dark, ancient forests where the trees whispered secrets of ages past, and shadows seemed to move as if alive. He forded icy rivers, climbed jagged mountains, and crossed barren plains where the wind cut like a knife. Along the way he encountered many challenges, each testing a different part of his soul. On the second day of his journey, he came across a wounded knight lying in the snow. Though his path was urgent, Percival dismounted without hesitation, tending to the knight's injuries and offering what comfort he could. "Thank you, young one," the knight whispered before fading from sight, leaving behind a silver token as a blessing. Percival continued on, the token tucked safely in his armor. He soon entered a dense forest, where a mystical hermit awaited. The hermit spoke in riddles and asked Percival to prove his wisdom, to discern truth from illusion. Percival listened carefully, answered thoughtfully, and was rewarded with guidance to find the next stage of his journey. Each step forward was not merely about strength, but about understanding, patience, and the courage to choose rightly. One afternoon, as Percival crossed a misty moor, he came upon a village stricken by famine. The villagers looked to him with hope, and though his quest pressed on, he stayed, helping them repair homes, hunt, and gather food. His actions delayed his journey, but in his heart, he knew that this was exactly what it meant to live as a true knight, not for glory, but for service to others. Finally, after weeks of hardship, Percival arrived at a mysterious castle. Its towers sparkled as though carved from crystal, and the air around it shimmered with enchantment. Inside, the lord of the castle greeted him warmly, offering rest, food, and counsel. Yet he warned Percival, beyond these walls lies the Grail. To find it, you must face trials of strength, temptation, and moral choice. One misstep, and your heart may fail you. Each day within the castle brought new tests. The lady of the castle, beautiful and clever, sought to sway Percival from his quest. She offered kindness, companionship, and subtle temptations. Percival, courteous but steadfast, respected her without faltering, always mindful of honor. Yet on the third day she presented him with a green sash, saying softly, "This will protect you from harm, should danger strike." Percival accepted the gift, but he did not speak of it to the Lord, keeping his honor intact while preparing for the trials ahead. At last, Percival was led to a hidden chapel, bathed in golden light and silence, where the Grail awaited, floating above a stone altar, radiating a warmth that filled his soul. He knelt, understanding that the Grail was not merely a vessel of power, but a reflection of the courage, purity, and steadfastness within him. He grasped it with reverence, feeling a sense of peace and connection to something far greater than himself. Percival returned to Camelot, the Grail cradled carefully in his hands. The knights and King Arthur marveled at its radiant glow. Merlin nodded approvingly, for the young knight had proven that true worth was measured not by strength alone, but by heart, honor, and compassion. Percival's bravery, humility, and wisdom became a shining example to all the knights of the Round Table. From that day forward, the story of Sir Percival and the quest for the Holy Grail spread throughout the land. Children listened wide-eyed by the hearth, knights recounted it by the fire, and scholars wrote of it in their scrolls. It became a tale not only of adventure, but of the virtues that make a hero: courage in the face of danger, kindness to those in need, and steadfastness to one's vows and conscience. And Percival, ever humble, continued his service at Camelot, knowing that the greatest victories were not always those sung in songs, but those quietly lived with honor, wisdom, and love.